Something else that we are watching this morning, shares of Twilio. And I'm just looking at the blog posting here in which the company says it is cutting more jobs, 17% of the team. They're forming two business units, Twilio Communications and Twilio Data and Applications. All of this in a blog post from Twilio CEO Jeff Lawson.
Julian, I knew this sounded familiar. In late September, Twilio announced an 11% reduction, and you had Jeff Lawson putting out a blog post back then to all his, what he calls Twilions. Back then, he was saying he didn't want to sugarcoat things, but at what point does this fall on Jeff Lawson? I mean, you've laid off, close to 30% of your workforce in 3 or 4 months, and now you're announcing a major strategy shift. I mean, this is terrible leadership.
Yeah, I mean, as we talk about some of these stocks and what they have done, Twilio shares are bouncing some 7% this weekend because, as we know, the market has liked news of cuts. Twilio shares were down 81% last year, so that also falls in the on the more dramatic side of the spectrum in terms of, we know a lot of tech companies had losses last year, but that outpaces a lot of them. The shares have bounced back about 23% this year, so they've followed the trajectory that we have seen for a lot of this sector.
And of course, this initial move you're seeing in Twilio is on the expectation that maybe in the first half of this year, they've laid off about 28% of their workforce. Expenses will be down. Maybe they'll blow away earnings estimates, but just keep this in mind. When you cut this deep to your workforce, it just does stuff to your company's DNA. Maybe you just can't grow your top line as fast as you would have liked. It just alters the way you do business and, of course, hurts morale.
The company also talks about, speaking of morale, that they're winding down some of the perks they've offered in the past. They said, including our book and wellness and allowances. I guess people got a book allowance, which is kind of cool, but they're not getting that anymore.
Book allowance.
A book allowance.
A book allowance. I will take $10 out of my paycheck and go download a book from Barnes & Noble to my e-reader. Come on, cut that out. Cut it out. Get more focused. Get more focused.
Do you know how many books are available, from your public library as ebooks?
Or go to the public library.
As ebooks?
How many?
I'm a big fan of the public library.
Me too. I love the public library. I still go there. I went 2 weeks ago.
Like almost the full catalog is available as ebooks. Yeah. You can just do it that way.
That's where I write my newsletters.
At your library?
At my public library, yeah.
Wow.
I guess I'll let the world know. Yeah, I love my public library.
Go find Saz at his local Long Island public library on a Sunday.
How much was the book allowance? What are these guys pulling in about $1,000 a year for a book allowance? I mean, that adds up. What do you do with Jeff Lawson? Come on.
We have to do some more digging on that front to find out. I mean, not to make fun of the book allowance. Obviously,
take away the hot dogs, too. When you cut 30% of your workforce, just cut everything and start, running a business. You shouldn't be laying off 30% of your workforce here.
It sounds like that's what they're doing.
So they're cutting the hot dogs, too?
I don't know about that. I
don't mean to laugh, but I'm just tired of hearing these large layoff announcements. And yes, the economy is slowing, but I mean, this is just bad management. Now you're overhauling your businesses, too.
What about the companies that laid off people and then had Super Bowl ads?
Well, that too. I mean, that's just.
We're going to talk
you're living
more
in a
about
different
that
planet somewhere
later in the show.